Hey guys, welcome to my 3D texturing tutorial. In this video, I'll show you step by step how to add materials to the 3D model of a sandwich cookie or biscuit. I'll also show you how to UV unwrap, add label, and texture the biscuit or cookie wrapper in Blender. Let's get started. In our previous tutorial, we created the 3D model of a sandwich cookie or biscuit. We also created the 3D model of the wrapper. If you missed that, kindly watch that first by clicking the link at the top of your screen. Let's get back to this video. We'll be starting with the sandwich cookie or biscuit. The first thing you'll do is hide the wrapper. Rename this to biscuit and rename this to filling. Click on the cookie or biscuit, go to the Materials tab, click on New, then rename it to Biscuit Matte or any name of your choice. Drag the timeline window up, then switch it to Shader Editor. Next, switch to Render Preview mode. We can see that there is no light in the scene. To add the light, switch this from Object to World, click on the Background node and press Ctrl-T to bring up the environment texture. Click on Open, then select your HDRI from your PC, and your scene is lit. You might have a background on yours like this. To remove it, go to the Render Properties tab, click on Film, and then click on Transparent, and then the background is removed. Next, we need to turn on the displacement before we begin adding the materials. This is necessary for the displacement node to work properly. To do that, go to the Materials Properties tab. Under Settings, switch the displacement from Bump Only to Displacement and Bump, and we are good to go. Switch from World to Object, and we can see the principal BSDF and the material output are already created when we added a new material earlier on. To create this cookie or biscuit texture, we're going to do it in 3 steps. The first one is to create the base color so that it has that baked effect. To do that, add the Noise Texture node and the Color Ramp node. Click on the Noise Texture and press Ctrl-T to add the Mapping and Texture Coordinate nodes to it. Connect the Factor to the Factor, and then connect the color to the base color, and we get this effect. Change this from Generated to Object. The effect is better placed this way. Change the scale to 15, detail to 10, roughness to 0.6. Now let's give it colors for that baked look. Add a new color stop. Click on the first one and change the color to this color code. Click on the middle one and change it to this color code. Then finally click on the third one and change it to this color code. And we have our baked biscuit effect. Now, for the second step, we need to create that crumbly, porous texture that will be used to displace the surface for that realistic feel. To do that, we need to mix 2 textures, called the Noise Texture and the Voronoi Texture. So let's add them now. Also, add the Mix Color node to mix them together. Add the Displacement node as well to displace the surface. Connect the displacement to the displacement of the material output node, and we have this weird thing going on. Don't worry about that for now. Connect this object to the vector of the Noise Texture node and the Voronoi Texture node. Connect the factor of the Noise Texture node to the Mix Color A. Connect the distance of the Voronoi Texture node to Mix Color B. And you can see that it still looks weird. We need to change some values in the nodes. Change the scale in the Noise Texture to 150, Detail to 15, change F1 to Distance to Edge in the Voronoi Texture, change Scale to 50 and Factor to 0.8 in the Mix Color node. Now, this is the most important part. You need to change it to a small number like 0.005 to give us what we want. And we have this effect. You can adjust the roughness to your taste. I'll be using 0.4 or 0.35. Increase the subdivision to 3 and then check how it looks using cycles. And you can see that it's looking good. This might be perfect for some of you already, but for some of you that wants more realism, let's go to the third step, which is making the biscuit look more realistically baked around the edges. This is done by adding a subtle darkening effect on the edges. To do this, we'll add a gradient texture node, a color ramp node, and a mix color node. Connect the same object to the vector of the gradient texture node. Connect the color to factor. Connect the output of the original Biscuit Colors color ramp from step 1 to mix color A, and the output of the new color ramp to mix color B. Then connect the output of the mix color node to the base color of the principled BSDF, and we have this gradient effect. Right now the gradient is linear. Let's change it from linear to spherical, and now the gradient is in a circular shape. In the color ramp, move the white stop towards the black. You can use the value 0.2. This creates a sharper fall-off, essentially making the baked edge thinner. Then finally, change color to multiply on the mix color node, and we have the toasted look we want. Let's check how it looks using cycles, and you can see that it's looking really good. If you are getting value from this tutorial, kindly give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. This will encourage me a lot to put out more content like this. Thank you. Next, let's create the filling texture. Click on the model. Increase the subdivision modifier to make it look smoother around the edges. Click on the Materials Properties tab and click on New to create a new material. Rename it to Filling Matte or any name of your choice. Change the base color to this color code. Change the roughness to 0.3. Increase the subsurface scattering weight to 1. Then change the radius to 0.2, 0.1, and 0.05. And we have our filling. This is perfectly okay for a basic filling material, but if you want it to look a little more realistic, we can add very little surface imperfections. To do that, let's add a noise texture and a bump node. Connect the factor of the noise texture to the height of the bump node. Then connect the normal of the bump to the normal of the principled BSDF. And we have this. Change the strength of the noise texture to a very high number like 250. This should create very small, fine details. But we can see that it still looks a little stretched. To fix that, click on the noise texture node and press Ctrl-T to add the mapping and texture coordinate nodes to it. Connect it from generated to object, and that should fix it. Change the detail to 15 as well. This is the most important part. You want the effect to be very subtle. Set the strength to a very low value like 0.01. And we have this. You can check the difference by pressing M on the noise texture, and you can see the subtle details that we need. I changed mine to 0.02. You can check out looks using cycles, and you can see that it's looking great. Next, we need to create the textures for the cookie or biscuit wrapper. Hide the sandwich cookie or biscuit first. Switch to solid view mode so that we work from here. Go to the Modifiers tab and apply the Mirror modifier. Before adding the materials, we need to UV unwrap the model first. To do that, we need to select the edge all around the side of the model. Since there's no edge at the top, press Ctrl-R to add a loop cut there. We can see that there is a space here. Press K for the knife tool and connect them together. Do the same for the other side. Also do the same for the bottom side. Now if we try selecting the edge, we can see that all the edges around the side is selected just like we wanted. Now, switch to front view. Press Ctrl and drag over one side of the model to deselect it. Press U and select Mark Seam. Open another window and switch it to UV Editor. Now select All, press U and select Unwrap Angle Based, and the UV is unwrapped perfectly here. Now we need to add our label. If you want to follow along, you can download the label I'll use in the description box below. If you want to create yours, and you need to know the exact size for this model, click on UV, select Export UV Layout, then you can save it as a PNG file on any location on your PC. Now to create the label, you can do that on any vector or raster software of your choice. I'll be doing mine on Adobe Illustrator. Here is the PNG file exported from Blender. Here is the background I used for the label, and here are the graphics. They're must replaced exactly on the PNG image from Blender so that it fits perfectly. Now let's get back to Blender. Switch your subdivision modifier back on. Go to the Material Properties tab. Click on New to create a new material. Rename it to wrapper.mat. Click on the principal BSDF and press Ctrl-T. Click on Open to select the label. And this wraps perfectly on the wrapper. Change roughness to 0.2. Under Specular, change the anisotropic to 0.5. You can check how it looks using cycles, and you can see that's looking great. Now you can turn on the sandwich cookie or biscuit. Next, let's add a plane. Scale outs using S. Switch to Edit mode and extrude upwards using E. Select this edge and bevel it using Ctrl-B. Then shade smooth. Bring in your camera, move it up and move it towards the Y direction. Change X rotation to 90, then change Y and Z rotation to 0. Make sure the camera is selected, then press Ctrl-0 to go to the camera view mode. To position your objects in the camera view, go to View and make sure Camera to View is ticked. I unticked now so that I can arrange them first without the camera. The first thing you will do is parent the filling to the biscuit so that when we move the biscuit, the filling moves along with it. We'll do that by clicking on the filling, then clicking on the biscuit, then press Ctrl-P and select Object. Now we can move only the biscuit and the filling goes along with it, just like we want it. Now you can arrange it as you want. You can switch it to cycles to see what we have. Thank you so much for sticking with me till the end. If you found this tutorial helpful, please give it a like and subscribe for more content like this. I'll see you in the next tutorial.